How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and in today's video I wanted to go over a pretty common question that I've been getting on my Jeep Cherokee XJ videos, and I also wanted to talk about a few other topics regarding my Jeep here. So let's go ahead and hop in and get started. So I've been making Jeep Cherokee XJ videos for about the past 2.5 years now, and I definitely am enjoying this Jeep very much. And as you guys know, if you watched my previous video, I'm definitely a Jeep guy and pretty much always have been. Jeeps are pretty much the most versatile vehicles in my opinion. You can pretty much drive them anywhere. You take it on a whole bunch of road trips, so they're definitely very enjoyable vehicles. So in the past 2.5 years of making Jeep videos with my XJ here, one of the most common questions that I've been getting on each one of my videos is, how is the fuel economy? You know, what kind of miles per gallon do you get? Now, in my own opinion, I really don't think you should be getting a Jeep Cherokee XJ or any type of Jeep for that matter if you are worried about the miles per gallon or the fuel economy. I will say I definitely am the type of person that thinks it's miles per gallon instead of miles per gallon, because with any type of enthusiast-based Jeep, you really aren't buying it for the fuel economy or the miles per gallon. You know, you're buying it to have the freedom to drive wherever you want to, you're buying it to be part of the Jeep community, and you're buying it to, you know, make it into a project, for example. There's definitely a whole bunch of reasons why people get into Jeeps, and the fuel economy probably should not be one of those reasons. But I will say, with my Jeep Cherokee XJ here, I honestly have never actually calculated the fuel economy that I've been getting with this Jeep. Now, to be honest, some people say it's terrible, some people say it's great. Of course, it always just depends on how you drive it. If you're driving on the highway, then of course you're going to be getting better fuel economy than if you were to only drive in the city or only take it off-roading, for example. So, of course, a lot of factors play into the fuel economy. For the most part, I really haven't seen kind of a concrete answer for whether or not a Jeep Cherokee XJ has good fuel economy or not. Like I said, many people complain about it, and a lot of people also say that it's great. They don't really have a problem with it. And, you know, for me personally, I've never calculated my fuel economy, and I don't really have a problem with it because, you know, it's a Jeep. I didn't buy it for the fuel economy. I bought it for the miles per gallon. So that's definitely what it's great at doing. You know, it's, like I said before, it's a great vehicle to have fun with, because you can pretty much have the freedom to drive it wherever you want to and explore new places, which is what I love doing. And I also did mention it's a good vehicle to get as a project, which is kind of what I got this Jeep as well. I kind of just got it as a restoration and preservation project originally. So definitely a fan of how this Jeep has been holding up so far for the past 2.5 years. But now when it comes to my future Jeep, so if you guys saw my previous video, I did reveal that I am getting a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Now, that Jeep is a whole different story when it comes to fuel economy, because if you guys are familiar with that Jeep, of course it has a 6.4 liter V8 Hemi, 470 horsepower, so it's definitely a gas guzzler. And a lot of people complain about, you know, Wranglers in general not having good fuel economy at all. And imagine stuffing a 6.4 liter 392 V8 in a Wrangler. So definitely not going to be good, but of course, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you're looking for a good fuel economy, then the Jeep Wrangler probably is not a good option for you. So with the 392 Wrangler, of course, the average MPGs with that thing, I believe, is like 13 or something. It's pretty crazy, but I think highway I saw like 17 maybe, and then city is around 11. So not sure how accurate those numbers actually are, but of course we're going to find out once I actually get my Jeep Wrangler 392, because of course it does have a gauge that shows the fuel economy and the miles per gallon, since it's of course a brand new Jeep. As compared to my XJ here, there's no actual gauge that shows the MPGs. So if I wanted to know it, I would actually have to calculate it manually that way. So, like I said, with the 392 Wrangler, it's definitely going to be a huge gas guzzler, but, you know, like I keep saying, it's the miles per gallon that actually matter to me. And if you're the type of person that's getting a 392 Wrangler or any kind of, you know, V8 for that matter, then you probably don't really care too much about the fuel economy anyways. So you're definitely the type of person that probably is just getting a vehicle for, you know, the miles per gallon and the amount of fun that you can have with that type of vehicle, which is definitely my case as well. So one reason that you should not get a Jeep in general is if you care a lot about the fuel economy, because you might be disappointed when it comes to that. But one thing that Jeep has been doing recently to kind of help bring more people that actually care about the fuel economy into their brand is, of course, they just released the 4xe Wrangler and a few other models as well. which of course is a hybrid. Now I do like the fact that Jeep has been introducing these new 4xe models to kind of, satisfy some more of their customers that care more about the fuel economy. But the thing that I'm not too impressed with is the fact that they're trying to kill off their 392 and, basically all of their gas-powered vehicles as well. Now, if you go to the Jeep website, they pretty much say, like their huge logo now says, the future of Jeep is electric. It's very unfortunate for, actual enthusiasts like myself, which is one of the reasons that I chose to get a 392, because it's, it's basically the end of an era, the last of a dying breed that you can get. So, I want to talk about the 4xe as well a little bit here. So it's going to be a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder. It's going to have 2 electric motors and a 400-volt battery pack. Now from that, you can actually get 21 miles of fully electric range. So it doesn't really sound like too much, but since it is a hybrid, of course, you also do have the internal combustion engine to kind of supplement that. So of course, it's not meant to be a fully electric vehicle. Now, talking about the whole fuel economy thing and miles per gallon, the 4xe Wrangler, at least for the 2023 model, it's supposed to have an average of 49 miles per gallon, which if you compare to the 392, for example, is a huge increase. And what also surprises me about the 4xe Wrangler is that it's supposed to have 375 horsepower, which if you compare to the previous generations of the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 engine, those had about 285. So if you compare that to the 4xe with the hybrid, it has the 4-cylinder, tiny engine, but of course it has the electric battery as well to kind of assist it. You can really see how efficient those hybrids actually are with actually giving you more horsepower. But of course, if you do compare to the big 392 6.4-liter V8 Hemi, then there's no question, no comparison whatsoever. Comparing it to the 470 horsepower of the 392 versus the 375 of the 4xe, I think I definitely know which one I would be going with, even if I'm sacrificing like 30 miles per gallon. Even though the 4xe does have 375 horsepower, the 0 to 60 time on those is going to be around 8.2 seconds, which is around twice as long as the 392. So considering, about 100 horsepower more with the 392, it also does 0 to 60 in half the time as the 4xe. Of course, the four-wheel drive, the full-time four-wheel drive definitely helps out with the 392. Definitely helps, grip it up from the very beginning from a dig. So the 0 to 60 claimed time for the 392 is going to be 4.5 seconds, which in my opinion, for a vehicle that weighs around 5,100 pounds, that is very impressive in my opinion. Now, comparing that to the Challenger's Cat Pack that we actually sold to buy the 392, that one had, of course, the same 6.4-liter V8 Hemi, the 392. It had 485 horsepower to the crank stock, so 15 more than the Wrangler. And the 0 to 60 time on that was around 4.2, and it weighed around 1,000 pounds less. So you can definitely see that I really do think that the four-wheel drive system in the Wrangler definitely helps it have that, pretty impressive 0 to 60 time in my opinion. So overall, I am a pretty big fan of how Jeep has been operating recently, giving us the 392 all the way down to the electric hybrid Jeep that they have as well. But of course, what I'm not a fan of is that they're going to be discontinuing the 392 and, pretty much going all electric with all of their vehicles, which is very unfortunate for all of us enthusiasts that actually were big fans of the Jeep brand as well, because they're kind of killing off the whole, enthusiast base. And of course, I do understand that they kind of have to follow all the government regulations to actually be able to stay in business. But, it's just very unfortunate that all of this is happening right now. And I really do think that it's an end of an era, which is why I wanted to get that 392 Wrangler before they discontinued pretty much all of the enthusiast-based vehicles. And of course, I am very glad that I was able to get my hands on a Jeep Cherokee XJ here as well, because of course, this was a very enthusiast-based vehicle as well. And if you look at the current Jeep Cherokee, it definitely does not look nearly as good as the XJ looks. So definitely very excited to have another enthusiast and, possibly collector's Jeep in the future. And I'm definitely looking forward to all the content and all the off-roading and trips that I can take that 392 Wrangler on. And of course, the fuel economy will definitely be terrible, But of course, that's not what it's about. If you're getting a Jeep, then I would definitely not recommend worrying too much about the fuel economy. And if you are worried about the fuel economy, then I don't know if the Jeep is right for you, unless you want to get the 4xe, which of course is a great option as well if you are a little bit more concerned about the fuel economy. And now real quick, I also did want to touch on a few of the future plans that I have with my Jeep Cherokee XJ here. So I know we haven't really been doing too much with this Jeep. It's kind of just been, you know, a restoration and preservation project as of right now. And the main reason that we haven't really been moving forward with any of my projects with the XJ is that I've been waiting for one single piece of hardware for about the past year. Now, that single piece of hardware is the driver's side rear bumper bracket. Now, as you guys know, I'm planning to replace the whole rear bumper, the bumper brackets, as well as the rear bumper end caps. I have everything ready to go except for the driver's side rear bumper end cap. Now, for some reason, it's been back ordered and out of stock everywhere that I've looked for the past year. I did reach out to the supplier, Crown Automotive. They said it should be back in about a month, but that's the same thing that they were telling us a year ago. So it's really hard to say when it's actually going to be back in stock. And of course, I do understand I could just buy a used bumper bracket, but if I already have a brand new bumper, a brand new passenger side rear bumper bracket, I definitely do want to also get a brand new driver side rear bumper bracket to match that as well. I wanted to get out here and show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. So I have talked about this in a few of my previous videos, but it's been a while. So basically, the rear bumper is the rustiest part of my entire Jeep right now, since we did get a whole bunch of rust repairs in the past. The only thing that we did not get repaired with rust is the rear bumper, as you can see right here. And then right here is probably the worst spot. So looking at the bumper brackets here, not sure how well those are going to show up, but those are pretty rusty as well. And then show you the passenger side here. Not sure how well it's going to show up, but right over there you can kind of see the passenger side bracket right there. Overall, you know, we still have this project in progress, but of course we are only waiting for the driver's side bumper bracket, and then we can move forward with replacing this whole bumper as well as the two bumper brackets. And then of course I also do want to replace these bumper end caps here as well. So there's the driver and there's the passenger side. The passenger side is definitely a little bit more faded than the driver's side, and this is a pretty common thing on these old XJs, especially if they sit out in direct sunlight. These things just get super faded in color. So like I was saying, I already do have all these parts ready to go except for the driver's side bumper bracket right there. So that's pretty much the only thing I'm waiting for, and then we can move forward with replacing the whole rear bumper, the rear bumper brackets, as well as these rear bumper end caps. So I wanted to show you what the front bumper end caps turned out like. So these are brand new. I have a whole video tutorial on how I replaced these and how we actually had to trim part of this to fit the 31-inch mud tires. But these actually turned out very well. They do match the Jeep a lot better now than before, because these were also pretty faded in color as well. So to show you the passenger side here, this is what it looks like in direct sunlight. Of course, looks a whole lot better, and of course matches the Jeep a lot better as well. So that's pretty much where we're at with the XJ project. Of course, just keeping up with regular maintenance. That's basically it as far as the XJ goes. I don't really want to do any type of actual upgrades to this Jeep. I love it the way it is right now, and I want to keep it how it is right now as well. I have been thinking about doing an upgraded steering setup, so that might be a future project as well. I've been looking at the Rusty's upgraded steering setup, so it's definitely one of my considerations for a future project. But as of right now, the main priority is to replace the rear bumper brackets, and the rear bumper end caps. And of course, the only thing that's holding us up at this point is just waiting for the driver's side rear bumper bracket. So once we get that in, we can go ahead and move forward with the project for this XJ that I currently have. So, you know, overall, I'm definitely very excited to get my 392 Wrangler, and I hope you guys are excited for that content as well. Definitely going to be very exciting to see what kind of off-roading and what kind of trips we can take it on. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy all that content. So that's going to do it for this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, or if you guys have anything to add to this video, definitely drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys have any video suggestions for videos you would like to see in the future, also drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys liked this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.